Hey everybody, 50 Plus here. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about, I had a good question from Majestic Thunder about how the company knows if you're running, basically who to distribute the work to, the loads to. Also, let's talk about when you should be shutting down for the day. Ubiest of the tubiest. That's you, and I'm 50 plus. My plus one is taking a little break. I think he's walking to a restaurant to get him something to eat. So it's just me and you today. Majestic Daughter sent me inbox me, and he had a really good question. I've kind of talked about it a little bit in the past, but I want you guys to take a little refresher. His question was basically, how does a company know or be able to differentiate between drivers who are hustling and making the money and those that are not? And it may seem a little shallow, the question, but in reality, it can be it needs some breaking down and some explaining, because he makes a very, very valid point. And I had this issue a few weeks ago with the team drivers, and they weren't getting team loads. In fact, it's kind of happening to us, me and my student. We hadn't gotten a team load since he hit 50, man. We've been put in for a team load, and I hadn't gotten a team load. So it may have something to do with the freight and the lanes that we're in, and the fact that I left that little dedicated route to go home and spend a little time with my family. We had a family event, and I wanted to be home for that. That was pretty cool. By the way, you come to work at Swift and you have a family function, you want to spend a day or two with the family, or whatever amount of time you got coming to you with the family, it's simply a request. There's even a macro you can put in case you don't even want to call anybody. And I've never, ever been denied home time. They have always routed me to the house, and I've always been there on time. You know, and it's really cool that they take care of you that way, okay? But we left Texas and went to Georgia, and then North Carolina, and now we left North Carolina. We're heading to where we're actually in Florida. And so, you know, we're getting some good miles, and they're not team runs, which is kind of what I prefer, because it not only does it pad the check, but my student gets an opportunity to experience team running, especially the fact that he's going to be a part of the team. So hopefully that'll happen. But the fact that we may be in low freight areas or something that could prevent you from hitting that 600 mile a day quota that you may have for yourself, what I have for myself. So is it that myself, the driver, is not hustling, or is it that you can't run that hard because you're just simply not getting the loads? That was his question, so it does make sense, okay? And I've talked about who gets those loads, what they think about before they send those loads out to you. It has a whole lot to do with your driving habits, and whether or not they feel like if they give you a load that's got a lot of miles on it, that you're going to be able to get there on time. How do they know this? This is very simple, okay? All you have to do is look at your DOT. They can look and tell you how long you spent in the sleeper, how many times during a run you stop and take breaks, and how long those breaks are, and how well, how efficient you are. You can tell all of that by looking at the DOT time. So the short answer is that's what they're going to do. They're going to look at your DOT time, and they don't have to do it because the program tells them, a ratio of how much time you drive versus how much time you spend in a sleeper, and whether or not, because of your past habits, if you're going to be able to complete a load successfully. So they don't sit there and do the math. They got programs that do that for them. And this is every truck company, same thing. That's only they can be efficient. Okay. So let's say this happens, which is a part of his question. The main portion of his question isn't whether or not he or you or myself are willing to run hard and make those miles, but could possibly be judged on the fact that you're not being distributed miles, therefore you don't have the chance to push that type of miles. So what I do is, when I have a load that's not gonna get me where I want to go, I accept that load, and in the midst of running, I'm beating up the phone. I'm going, what's my next load? I'm only on this day. I'll be there in no time flat. I need some more work. And I just keep doing it, keep hounding and hounding and hounding, and somebody going to put a load on me to shut me up. And it works. You just keep pushing and keep pushing. And if it keeps happening, then you may need to have a talk with your driver to say, hey, what's going on? Why am I having to push to get loads, and there's an explanation there. Clearly your numbers are down, and your numbers aren't down because something that you aren't doing properly. Okay, so the main thing is, you just make sure you take care of your business. Make sure you're running, you're pushing the loads as hard as you can push them, and then try to find out why you're not getting those that you push harder. That's a phone call to your driver manager. And if you don't get a satisfactory answer there, you may need to step up a little bit and go over there and say, hey, look, which is what happened with the team. We talked, but he went over his driver leader's head and went to the next guy, and the next guy looked at it and said, what is going on here? And he went to the driver leader and said, hey, you're treating this truck as if it's a single driver truck. This is a team truck, and they need to be getting team loads, and the next load was a team load, and they've been running good ever since. So sometimes it's just a breakdown in communication, okay? And so you need to say something, okay? But keep in mind, I don't care which company it is, they've got a lot of money invested in you, and they got a lot of money invested in these vehicles, the equipment, and they didn't put all this money out on the street for it to not earn. So they definitely don't want you sitting. They want the tires turning, fuel burning, so they can make that money. That's the only way we make money. You got to be rolling. They don't make money sitting still. They don't make money if you park. So it's not their goal to have you parked. They need the freight to get you moving, and that's what their job is. Our job is to move that freight. And so don't think that a company, for some reason, decided, we have just made too much money. We need to stop making money. So we just go park half our fleet. That's not the way it works. They don't want to park here. They're just bonehead. That's not how it works. So there's got to be something else. Never think about it as either a company is intentionally failing you. Find out what the problem is, and then address it, and then move on so you can stay in that lane of making money. Okay. Next, how do you know when it's time to shut down for the day? A couple of factors. One, you set up a pre-plan. You plan out your day, you plan out your run so that you know when you need to stop to arrive at the shipper with enough time on your clock to do what your goal is. For me, my goal is to arrive at that shipper with enough time to get out from under the current load at the receiver and make it to the next load, the shipper at the next load, and forward that load until I can get to a place where I can park for the night, or whatever, we're on a team run or whatever. It doesn't really make any difference, but I plan it so that I can arrive at a specific destination after I've picked up my next load. Okay, so that's one thing. But if you're in the midst of running and you need to stop, how do you know when it's time? Basically, fatigue is what I'm getting at. A lot of people don't know that their body is shutting down. So ideally, you need to learn your body and what is abnormal for you. Okay, signs like restlessness. You can't get comfortable in the seat. You're constantly moving your legs, you're constantly moving your arms, you're drifting out of the lanes, and this may sound far down the road, sleepy, but if you're looking down the road and the dividing lines are doubling and that sort of thing, you start to get double vision and things like that. That's a sign of fatigue. And you might say, wow, are you seeing double vision? Well, yeah, that happens. And you doing this kind of stuff, and straining to get focused. That's your body telling you that it's time. Okay, you need to be looking for a place to pull over. That doesn't mean that your day has to be over. Okay, it just means that your body needs a little rest. Maybe you didn't sleep good the night before or whatever, or maybe you did sleep, you slept too good, and you ended up waking up too early. Find a rest area, a flat spot, any place that is safe, not only for the vehicle and the cargo and yourself, but you want to make sure that you're in a place where nobody can run into your truck, in the back of your truck, or anything like that. So it needs to be a good, safe spot. And pull over. Take you an hour and a half nap, 2 hour nap, and then get back up and keep forwarding the load. Okay, that's much safer than falling asleep behind the wheel. I mean, by far that's much safer. Okay, but it's the right thing to do. Basically, is what I'm telling you. It's the right thing to do. To stop, pull over, and nothing is going to wake you up except sleep. That's it, man. You need to get the rest. Let's say this happens to you. God, I hope, pray that it doesn't. It doesn't. So let's just not say you. Let's use a hypothetical person. This hypothetical truck driver gets involved in a collision with a fatality, and they determined that he was asleep behind the wheel. Just use this as an example. No drugs or alcohol in his system, but there's like 3 cans of Monsters in his trash bag and a 5-hour energy that he just drank. And the shysters are going to look at that and say, guess what? This guy or gal, this hypothetical person, driver, was drinking all this stuff, trying to stay awake. So they obviously knew that they were sleeping. Now, it's not an accident anymore. You follow me? So, drinking a pot of coffee, hanging your head out the window, singing, talking to yourself, nothing. 5-hour energies and Monsters and all that kind of stuff. They come with a quick high and a hard crash when they're done. But it also lets the shysters know that you even knew that you were sleeping. At that point, you should have already pulled over. you're gonna pull over to go buy 5-hour energy, just park. You know, you pull over, get another cup of coffee, just park. It's not a crime to do that. Nobody's going to fire you for pulling over because you were sleepy. You need to handle that properly, okay? Let's just say I had a bad night, man, and I just can't do it. My body isn't functioning right today. I cannot do it. I'm gonna pull over at a truck stop, something. I'm gonna call my driver and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. I mean, I want to forward this load, but I feel myself, you know, going into micro sleep. I got to stop. Okay, I'm gonna try to take a 2-hour nap and start going again. However, you know, I'm pushing the line on this load. What do you think? Do you think we can buy more time, or maybe we should repower? That's being proactive. You know, and I'm not saying do that an hour before the freaking load's got to be delivered. I mean, be reasonable, but communicate. Let them know what's going on. And they may just repower the load, and it's no harm, no foul. You're not going to get slammed. Excuse me, just a minute. You're not going to get slammed for that. Nobody's going to fire you or oh, I got another load. Exactly. So I'm right on time for this delivery. We're early. We're gonna be early. So they gave me the load already. That's what was coming across. I just want to make sure it wasn't the same load that I was on. Update to it. But anyways, listen. The company is here for you. They don't want you hurt. They don't want you to hurt anybody. They want their loads there on time. But if it's delaying the load, postponing the delivery time versus you and the equipment and someone else being hurt because of a lack of sleep, call somebody. Okay, it's not hard, man. Nobody's with you. Okay, so you just learn when to stop. Learn when it's time. Pull over. Remember, if your pickup is A and your delivery is B, there's so many miles between A and B. That's not going to change. The amount of time it takes you to get to A to B, that's not going to change. In fact, you got to have a 10-hour break somewhere in there. It's not going to change. Only thing that changes is how much time you're going to drive before the 10-hour break and how many hours you're going to drive after the 10-hour break. That's the only thing you can change. Everything else is going to stay the same, but the break time stuff is still there. So if you got to stop early, take the break early. Stop taking the break early. That just means at the end of the break you have to drive more. You see? So it's no harm, no foul. But do yourself a favor. Do the person next to you driving down the road a favor. When you feel yourself getting fatigued, pull over. Okay? Find a safe spot, pull over, and take you a little bit of break there. Get you some rest. Okay? Outside of that, when it's bunk time, it's bunk time. Okay? Go to the bunk, go sleep. No video games. Talk on the phone with your other half. You know, for hours before you go to sleep. You know, come on. I know that's the only time we're talking, right? Because we're not jacking around on the phone while we're driving down the road. It's not what we do. Deliver undistracted. Okay? So when you stop, you take your break, take your breaks in between, you make some phone calls. I get it. That's my load. It comes on my phone. You hear it? It comes on my phone before it hits the bulk. That's what I knew it was coming. Okay, but not to keep you guys too much long. Too much longer. I'm not bitching at you, nothing like that. But I'm trying to give you guys some useful information so when you get out here, you know how to run. And hopefully, your mentor will teach you these things. Okay, when your body's fatigued, you pull over. My student hasn't built up the stamina, so we stop. He say, hey, I got to pull over. He only asked me to pull over. A lot of times I'm in a bump, and I feel the truck stop and hit a brake pop. But look out, and we had a truck stop. So how you feeling? I'm a little bit tired, so I pull over. Good job. Pull over, shit. Come on, man. Tired, pull over. I'm not here to drive you like a mule, and your mentor shouldn't do that to you. Okay? You get tired, you can't take no more. It's time to pull over. His dollars or her dollars can't be spent if they're in a grave. Okay? So let's do the right thing out there, okay? Let's deliver undistracted. Okay? Here we go. Hey, by the way, if you got any questions, anything, make a video about something, put it down there. If you already asked me to make a video and haven't made one yet, remind me of it, okay? Don't think that I forget you guys, because I did. I ain't trying to be mean. I just forgot. Okay? So, deliver undistracted. Here we go. Boop.
Hi, this is Autumn, and I'm a recruiter here at Swift Transportation, and I would love to help you get your trucking career started. Please give me a call on the contact information that is going to display at the end of this video. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then there's also a cell phone number you can text or that you can call if for after hours. I look forward to speaking with you. Just please make sure that you contact me before you do any inquiries online or call Swift at all. That way I can make sure that you are taken care of and I'm your recruiter.